My beloved, I see the tears you've cried in silence, the ones you wiped away so no one would ask questions, the ones that fell on your pillow when no one else knew how much you were breaking on the inside. And I need you to hear me clearly now. Not one drop of that pain has been wasted. Not one moment of your agony has gone unnoticed by heaven. For while others saw a quiet face and a tired soul, I saw the war you were fighting in your spirit. I heard the questions you were too afraid to voice, and I felt the weight that no one else seemed to carry for you. And though it may feel like you are walking through fire, that fire is refining you, not destroying you, because I am with you in it, not standing far off, not observing from a distance, but right in the center of your storm, holding your hand through the chaos and whispering your name every time you felt unseen. And what you must understand now is that this pain you're enduring is not the end of your story. It is the birthplace of something far greater. Your pain is not punishment. It is preparation. It is pressing out of you a voice that will carry power, a heart that will carry compassion, and a testimony that will carry nations into healing. And yes, I know you don't feel strong enough. I know it's hard to see anything good coming from the broken pieces scattered around you. But I am the God who makes masterpieces out of shattered lives, the God who raises the dead, who restores what others abandon, and who anoints the most unlikely vessels with the greatest callings. And you, my child, are one of those vessels, because even in your breaking, you did not curse me. Even in your loneliness, you did not walk away. Even in the disappointment and confusion, you chose to cling to me with trembling hands, and that faith, that raw, painful, honest, desperate faith, is more precious to me than gold. And it is the very soil from which your miracle is beginning to bloom, because what I am forming inside of you through this process is not temporary, it is eternal. And when you speak in the future, when you stand on stages you never imagined, when you pour out truth and light into the hearts of those who thought they were too broken to be used, they will not be moved by polished words or perfect presentations. They will be changed by the weight of glory that drips from your wounds. They will feel the Spirit in your voice, because your words will not come from theory. They will come from the ashes, from the battles, from the pain that you allowed me to turn into purpose. And that, my love, is why the enemy has fought you so hard. Because he knows that if you ever step fully into the healing I have for you, your story will shake kingdoms, your survival will silence doubt, and your worship will shatter strongholds not just over your life, but over the lives of countless others who are still in the prisons you once cried in. So hold on, even if by a thread. Hold on to the truth that your current suffering is not meaningless, is sacred, and you are not forgotten in this fire. You are being forged in it, and what comes out on the other side will not only be whole, it will be holy, it will be powerful, and it will be the very proof the world needs that I still move through broken people and birth miracles out of the deepest wounds. There is a weight to your suffering that even you haven't fully understood yet, a sacred pressure heaven placed upon your soul, not to crush you, but to shape you into a vessel so rare, so refined by the fire, that demons would tremble at your awakening and angels would surround you when you speak the very words birthed from your pain. And I need you to understand that what you are enduring is not random, not cruel, not meaningless, but a divine strategy heaven allowed so that your voice would carry authority no counterfeit spirit could mimic and no prideful spirit could steal. Because those who have been through the deepest valleys carry oil that only comes from crushing, and your anointing, yes, the one growing in silence, is dripping from every why you never received an answer for, from every person who abandoned you when you needed them most, from every betrayal that felt like it pierced your very identity. And while others see your gentle spirit and kind heart, I see the lion roaring within you. I see the future where your testimony becomes the lifeline for the broken. I see the moment when someone hears your story and falls to their knees, not because you impressed them, but because they felt me through you. And this is why the enemy has tried to silence you with shame, with exhaustion, with delays that made you question your worth and battles that made you wonder if I even cared. But oh, my child, if only you could see how much weight your obedience carries, how much light your perseverance is releasing into generational chains that once bound your bloodline, you would never question your value again, for you are not only being healed, you are becoming a healer, and your scars, those holy reminders of what didn't kill you, will shine brighter than any spotlight ever could. And you'll soon realize that I didn't let you go through it to punish you. I entrusted you with it because I knew you would survive it. And not only that, you would allow me to turn it into something holy, something dangerous to darkness, something so drenched in redemption that demons who once celebrated your breakdown will now fear your voice because it carries resurrection power, because it has been tested in the fire, and now it rings with truth that cannot be denied. And while others were being praised in public, you were being prepared in private. While others received applause, you received pruning, and it felt unfair. Oh, how I know it did, but the reward for your secret suffering is coming, and it is not small, it is not quiet, it is not ordinary, because I do not give average recompense to those who have walked through above average pain. And when I elevate you, it will not just be to bless you. It will be to launch you, to commission you, to position you as a sign and a wonder. And no one will be able to deny that the power resting on your life came from a place of deep intimacy with me. Because your praise was born through groaning. Your wisdom came through weeping. Your breakthrough came through barrenness. And now I am raising you as a voice of hope, as a prophet of healing, as a light for those who've been lost in the same darkness I rescued you from. And when you speak, chains will break, not because you rehearsed it, but because you lived it. And when you worship, the atmosphere will shift, not because of your skill, but because of your surrender. Because when I searched for someone who would not fold under pressure, I found you. And when I searched for someone who would trust me even with nothing left, I found you. And that, my beloved, is why I am writing a testimony through you that will touch not just a few, but multitudes, not just your city, but nations. And it all began with the pain you thought would destroy you, which in my hands is becoming the weapon that will deliver others and glorify me. You may not fully realize this yet, but the deepest agony you have endured has already begun echoing in the spirit realm as a sound of transformation. And what you thought was the collapse of everything you prayed for was actually the sacred breaking that opened the heavens over your life. Because while the world saw failure, I saw foundation. While others saw loss, I saw a legacy being written in real time. For my kingdom is not built by the ones who never fall, but by those who fall and still crawl toward me when they can't even walk anymore. And that is what you've done time and time again, through storms that should have ended you, through battles that left you breathless, and still, You whispered my name in the dark. Still, you kept your faith alive even when it flickered, and that, my love, has activated a divine decree over your destiny. For your pain has not only changed you, it has marked you. It has set you apart as one who carries weight in the unseen realm, as one who heaven trusts with the oil of deliverance and the mantle of intercession. And that is why your healing will not be private. It will be public, it will be evident, it will be prophetic, because I am about to breathe on your story and turn it into something people will weep over, not in pity, but in reverence, in awe at what I can do through one surrendered life, because every sleepless night became a seed in the soil of breakthrough. Every tear watered the future fields of harvest, and every time you chose me over bitterness, heaven documented it. Not one moment has been lost, not one sacrifice forgotten. And now the trumpet is sounding over your name in the spirit realm, announcing that your time is not only coming, it is already unfolding. And when it arrives, it will move quickly, it will overtake you. And the ones who watch you suffer silently will also witness you rise publicly. Because I do not allow my faithful ones to be humiliated without preparing a table for them in front of the same voices that question their faith. And yours, beloved, is about to be vindicated because you praise through pain. And that is something I will never ignore. For every wound that still aches within you is being transformed right now into a well that others will drink from, a well that flows with living water, with the wisdom of survival, with the presence of a God who never abandoned you. And soon, your life will not be remembered for what was taken from you, but for what was birthed through you in the aftermath. And you will stand not as a victim, but as a vessel, not as the broken, but as the breakthrough. And your voice will carry weight because it's been shaped by truth, not performance, because it was whispered in the furnace before it was ever shouted from a platform. And those who come near you will feel the residue of glory on your life, not because of what you've accomplished, but because of how you surrendered when there was nothing left to give. And I will multiply the grace on your life. I will pour out favor that no man can take credit for. And you will know without question that I did not forget the child who cried alone. I did not ignore the heart that bled silently. I saw it all, and I allowed it not to destroy you, but to distinguish you, to raise you as a lighthouse in a world desperate for authentic light. And now, what once nearly ended you will become the very thing that empowers you. And you will look back and say, even that was part of his plan, because I have never wasted a wound, never missed a moment, and everything that was meant to crush you will now be used to carry others into their healing. And that is why, no matter how painful it has been, your story is holy. Your pain is powerful, and your future is already singing a song of freedom over your life. And now heaven leans in, watching what you will do with all that has tried to silence you, all that has broken you open, not to leave you empty, but to make room for the divine overflow that is already beginning to rise within you. Because what I am doing through your life will not be quiet, will not be small, will not be subtle, for I am preparing to magnify what was once hidden, to amplify what was once whispered in private. And the testimony forming in you will not merely be a recovery. It will be a revolution, not just for your house, but for every soul connected to your obedience. And I tell you this with all the weight of heaven's promise. The very chapters that brought you to your knees will be the same ones that lift others off the floor, because I am giving your pain a purpose so powerful that it will become a weapon of mass deliverance, a lighthouse for the lost, a healing balm for the hopeless, and the anointing being cultivated in your soul, pressed down through affliction, through isolation, through rejection and heartbreak, is not ordinary oil. It is oil extracted in the dark, oil produced through crushing, oil that demons flee from because it reeks of survival and resurrection, and the kind of faith that terrifies the kingdom of darkness. And when you open your mouth, nations will not only hear you, they will feel me in your words. Because you won't be speaking from a place of theory, but from fire-tested truth, from ground soaked in tears that I have personally collected. And as I begin to raise you up, you will watch in awe as doors open that no man could open and hearts heal simply by encountering your presence, because your story will be proof of my power. Not because everything went smoothly, but because everything tried to kill you, and still I brought you out shining, wiser, gentler, bolder, purer. And the tables are turning now. The morning is lifting now. The oil is flowing now. And though they tried to label you based on your lowest season, I have written a new name over your future, and it is beloved, it is chosen, it is warrior, it is voice of revival. And I declare over you now that the nations will not only hear your story, they will be transformed by it. For your journey was never only about you. It was about everyone your testimony will set free, and no part of it will be wasted. Not 1 ounce of agony, not one lonely night, not one silent cry. Because I am the God who turns graves into gardens, trauma into triumph, sorrow into song. And as you continue walking with me, you will realize the crushing wasn't the end. It was the making, and now it begins the season of unveiling, the era of glory, the birthing of a calling so deep, so sacred, so necessary, that even hell itself will not be able to stop it. Because when I choose a voice to echo through generations, I choose the ones who suffered in silence, who remained faithful with nothing, who worshiped through the warfare. And that, my precious one, is why I chose you.